You're listening to a Doctor's Perspective podcast, episode 2, Lafayette Signs, with your guest with owner Drew Cornell.
I'm your host, Dr. Justin Trosclair, best-selling author on Amazon, podcast host, award winner, and chiropractor in Acadiana. Let's go hashtag behind the curtain in local businesses in Acadiana.
Welcome back to episode 2. Today, we're going to hear from Drew. He's been with Lafayette Signs for over a decade. And don't worry, we're not going to bore you with acrylic versus metal signs and a laser engraving and business cards and all that stuff. No. He is a leader, and he's growing that leadership muscle every week on purpose through a program. And to me, that's great because it's going to make you better. It's going to make it to where eventually I think you won't have to be the one working so hard. You can just pay people to do it. So I'm excited for you to hear the interview with him. Today's show is sponsored by Scoliosis Center of Louisiana and Chiropractic. Dr. Justin has a focus in scoliosis from his 2 years doing a non-bracing approach. A lot of people either aren't going to wear them or they can't afford it. That's just reality. And so this is a way combined with the Scoli Balance approach to get people out of pain, make some postural changes, and really it combines 5 of the best scoliosis exercise techniques. They found the stuff that patients will actually do that's also effective, and it all based on that putting the patient in the opposite position of their curves. Check them out at drjustintrosclair.com. Now, let's jump into the show. All the show notes can be found at adoctorsperspective.net/A02. Again, if you're interested in being a sponsor on the show, just reach out. Let's go. Welcome back to a Doctor's Perspective podcast, the Acadiana local edition. Today on the show, we've got Drew Cornell. He is the owner of Lafayette Signs that's been in business longer than I've been alive. And he took it over in 2012. But please, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting.
Absolutely. Well, look, we do things here. We're going to jump right in. Lafayette Signs. We can all assume we know what we're doing, but tell us, what is it that you typically offer? And then what was your big why to take over this place in 2012?
Well, the big why was I was teaching graphic design over at CC, and I had 3 kids, and I needed a little bit more food. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this out. So, I had previous experience in Houston with 3 shops and stuff, and I ran those before. So it's not that I was, going out on my own, not knowing anything. I just hadn't actually worked in this field. So I had a background in the graphic side of it and the production side of it, just not production of signs. So that's why. But, what we do offer over here after the oil market crashed in 15, we really had to diversify what we actually did, because initially we were pretty much my top 5 clientele all went bankrupt. And I was like, oh, that's not good. But, we fought through it, and we diversified what we offered to not only, service the oil industry, but throughout the times we've started working on more interior signs. Kind of like it's almost interior design, where I'll go out to a client's office space and look at it and try to give them basically a feel for not only their clients, but their employees. So what are they trying to get out of their employees? What do they want their clients to feel when they sit down and wait in their waiting room, things like that. And I've been doing it over 10 years. So basically, off of what they think, I kind of give them my best advice. And it's a fun thing. I truly enjoy it.
So what are we talking about? Are we talking fancy wallpaper with your information all over it? Are we talking the acrylic signs when you walk in that are backlit, or it's outdoor channel lights, everything?
Yeah, it all depends. What are they trying to get out of the workspace or the weight room? Let's say as a doctor, when your clients are coming in, if it's a dentist's office and everybody's nervous, because they don't like the dentist. So we want to try to relax them. It could be wall graphics, basically stating your name, your company, so that they feel comfortable that you're an established business. And it kind of goes throughout what they're actually trying to do, and then I tailor it toward the environment that they have. If the space is small, if it's large, and even to like the actual height of the sign itself. Are your clients sitting down all the time in that spot? Do we put the sign lower? Are they standing up in that area? Do we keep it higher? So
this would be anything from a sign to like posters and.
Right. You got wall graphic posters that get replaced every 3 months. Let's say you're doing promotionals, we'll set those up for you as well.
That's wild. You don't think about, well, at least I don't really normally think about that stuff, but you would. When you are designing a space and you're designing a certain atmosphere, all that stuff matters, because if you have a small room but you wanted a gigantic sign, you're like, that's really going to look bad. Well, and sometimes you need someone like yourself to tell us.
Yeah, and it's intimidating, So if you're in like a 6x4 space and the logo's 5.5 feet wide, you're like, it's taking over the whole room. You want
we do implants.
Exactly. Open your mouth now. So
That's right. Oh, you need some sedation? Okay, that was that poster over there and a foam board, because the foam board's not going to get replaced and it's going to stay up there longer and look better.
Right.
Oh, man. No Walmart frames for this one. So competition is fierce. You got online, you got these huge corporations that will try to lower you at as much as possible. So how do you compete against these people?
Well, I mean, our primary advantage being a small company is we can actually tailor our product to them. You go to if you go to Vistaprint, you're going to get whatever you do. You upload it, you send it, and it's done. But
that was the wrong size.
Yeah, happened to my sister. Like, she had some magnetics for their vehicle, and she got them, and they're like, postcards. So we'll catch those little things that you just don't think of before production starts, and we'll inform them, hey, guess what? If you're going to put this on a Jeep, it's going to look like a postcard. So maybe you want to go with an 18x12, or basically just a better camaraderie with each clientele, and we can actually service them better because we're so small. That's what we do for that. But for the online stuff, we also do have online e-commerce, so we're rolling out a few new products each month, and we don't have the complete customization yet, but it's mainly because I would say 80% of the people just need a little bit more advice about their product. So we just do a simple file upload and a text box that says, hey, tell me what you want, and then I can guide them.
And sometimes that's what you need. You just need that personal touch to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Even a business card or something simple like that. You're like, hey, is the font too small? Especially if you're like trying to do it yourself, but you may be not doing that many small businesses. Like you said, a big oil company. I mean, they could have project after project where you're just like you said, like, this was my top clients, and all of a sudden they're like, now, like you said, I'm forced to, or I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm going to, something else, and I'm going to, I guess, that's what we did. We found different avenues, different things that we can provide, and even though the one, like even some of them that went bankrupt, we still worked with them when they were in Chapter 11. We would help them because in the long run, if they did survive, they would always use us. That was
absolutely
my thought.
So what are we doing here? We're trying to build and maintain relationships with our customers. We're trying to get repeat business. We got to get customers to start with.
Right.
What are we doing? How is this marketing working for you?
You got a couple different avenues. So first thing you're going to go with, and I've tried almost everything. So what you want to do, though, is you basically want to scale it out. What I found, let's say for my particular business, Facebook doesn't get a pretty good return. LinkedIn does. Google pay-per-click is pretty good, but Instagram doesn't. So I'm going to put my money where I'm getting the most returns from.
Instagram. I'm not Instagram. You said LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so you can find places that if somebody needs a sign, for example, let's say on Facebook, you're going to hang out and you want to see what your friends did last week, or, what they're cooking for dinner. You're not necessarily thinking, man, I need that PPE sign, or I need a banner, So
at that point, you're hoping that the group that they're in recommends you when somebody asks that question of all the dentists in one place.
Right. But, I think we got about 70% people come from PPCs or the pay-per-click through Google searching. That and also organic search engine optimization. So we're working on our organic search results as well. But we're pretty good there. If you want to scale up, let's say, increase your business outside of just the marketing aspect of it. Take your pre-existing clientele, pick, let's say, your top 200, and send them a handwritten letter. Says, hey, man, what's going on? Really appreciate it. Give them something that they didn't know you could create. So we got a laser. Then we'll cut out some, Louisiana wood, stain it, and get a little keychain piece. Hey, have a good time. But by the way, we do provide this for others as one of our products, if you didn't know it. And, there's lots of little ways to remind the people that you currently have what else you can do for them.
I love the idea of sending like a keychain because, I didn't even know you did that. You just mentioned it. And then when you do have it, you're like, I'm always, personally, as a chiropractor, and I do like scoliosis and different things like that. I'm like, man, what can I get somebody that they would actually care? Because that's what I'm always like. If I'm going to spend my money on like a promotional item, I want it to be something that they could actually use or like, and it's hard to find, like, we don't have good stuff as chiropractors. We don't have a toothbrush that just makes sense.
How many koozies do you have? And of those, you go, oh, wow. my back hurts,
Yeah, I got the LSU alumni and one that my cousin made that says Dr. Justin on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
If I even use a koozie, I'm like, yeah, which one do I want? The one that says doctor on it or the LSU? I mean, there's not many options. The rest of them, I'm just like, here, you guys have those. Some wedding I went to,
Not many people are looking at that phone number to call, Well, they're fun.
I mean, cups are sweet, but.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
That makes sense. All right, we know we got them. Bad clients.
One thing about, for marketing for clientele is you need to contact this company called Lafayette Signs. So they do signs, they do decals.
Decals, you say?
Yeah, we do decals, signs, laser cut acrylic, anyway. But I would say that's for one rule for marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, it's so funny. Like, how do you market your marketing company? Oh, here we go.
Right.
But we have bad clients, or you make a mistake, and one way or the other, it's got to be resolved. Right. How do you handle this?
So our biggest thing right now is, where's my sign? Or where's my product? We got fall gaps. So when we're making signs, we have our proofing system. That's one of the fall gaps. And then the other one is our material requisitions and so forth. So a lot of times with email communications, it'll go into the junk mail. So, we'll send out all the stuff, but it won't come to them, or they won't realize it's come to them.
Oh.
We forget to contact them like, hey, now we have some stuff set up now that after 48 hours and we can monitor what's been open and what hasn't. But after 48 hours, we get an email that says, hey, make sure that they've actually looked at the artwork approval. But that's the biggest problem is the fall gap between that and then the material requisition with the slowdown a couple of years ago with all the our substrates and stuff. We have trouble getting them in as they used to be. But what I've done from there is I've branched out to different vendors. So I'm not dedicated to. I had two that were okay, and then my favorite. Suddenly, it's like their warehouse disappeared and they don't have any materials anymore. So I found.
Sorry.
Right, it's unfortunate. They're good people, but at the same time, on Tuesday, I need my product so that I can finish the job by Thursday. So.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask, what are you, like Active Campaign or HubSpot or something like that for all this follow-up on the emails?
No, I have a program called Shopbox, which is basically like a print manufacturing system.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's
everybody has their niche brand that they use, of course.
Right. And look, I went for about 3 years looking for, Salesforce, HubSpot, and I do have HubSpot as well, but that's just kind of for me to keep the people that I'm talking to in front of me. But yeah, Shopbox is a good software. It's real robust, and we're still developing it, and I've had it for about 3 years. We can set up as how many hours does it take to make the design, how many hours does it take to cut the design, to apply the design, so we can really get to the nitty gritty for all of our budgeting needs.
Because you're, to me, a company that really has to stay in your email box.
Right. Well, more and more.
Top of mind.
Yeah. And yeah, the hardest part nowadays is staying on top of the things, the two big fall gaps. And, consistently throughout time, I've tried to address it in different ways. So, right, eventually we're going to go paperless, but for the next 6 months, it's all paper. I mean, so redundant in paperwork that you got like 50 signatures per piece. But the reason for it is that once everyone understands how the paperwork works, when we go paperless, they all understand the workflow processes, and we've got a workflow spreadsheets that show exactly point A, point B, point C. It also helps remove any emotional issues that go along when, hey, it's my job to do this or whatnot. Well, it's actually our job because we as a team can work together, and it's on that step. And then I noticed you're busy, so I'm going to help you by doing it, and if we look at it that way, it helps out. We've had a little skirmishes here and there that if you just peel away all the layers, the reality is everyone's trying to get the same thing done, is give the client the best product possible. We just have different viewpoints, and if you just go back to the workflow and you realize, well, this is a quality control check, there is an issue with the quality or the problem, the misspelling or whatever. So we just recreate the sign,
Yeah.
The physical.
It's not your fault they misspelled it unless you literally did it wrong. But you can check the proof. Like, oh, no, that was us. That was not bad. We got to redo this sign. That's going to cost us a lot.
That's the best thing about emails, too, is we have documentation of date and time when you physically said, I approve this. And if she or he spelt it wrong and approved it, now if we catch it, we'll contact them. But at the same time, For the most part, we usually just have to run with what they want because it's not for us to decide unless they have a design fee.
Well, especially if they have some weird way to spell something or they're trying to be cute and clever. You're like, hey, you approved it. You wanted to spell it or do it like this. Like, that's on you. Like, we did our part correctly. Now, if it's not centered, we'll fix it. That's our part.
We have it done. Yeah. And we can say that you on this date and this time actually opened it and selected the approve button. And so but our biggest thing is to make sure that our bases are covered, as well as obviously help the client. But we also can't get ourselves caught with just running.
Everybody has that issue once.
Oh yeah.
Everybody gets burned once or twice, and then you're like, oh, okay, my mentor said to do this.
Yeah. Why do they want me to sign that?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So we're gonna switch gears. This is one of my favorite questions. You're a business owner. I'm pretty sure you could work 80, 90, 100 hours a week if you chose to, but you probably have a family. So how do we get to do both?
Well, let's see. I mean, basically, I've got 3 boys, and what I do is I work. Well, I get them to school, and then I work all day, and then I get them home, and then feed them, enjoy a little time with them, and then when they go to bed, I work again till between 12 and 2 a.m., and then I get up at 6 and do it again. And
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean,
But you have a crew, right?
I'm a crew of children.
You have people. Oh, okay, it's a crew of 2. Okay, so you're literally the one still making the things too.
Twins that are in high school, and I got a 9-year-old that's in 4th grade.
Okay, but you're doing the work, like.
Well, so currently, at my sign shop at Lafayette Signs, we're also redesigning the structure of how we do things with the Toyota Management Way system and the Kaiser method. So that's going to be like a 1-year process. And so each week, every Monday, we sit down and we go over these are the new processes and the policies and procedures and the workflows that we're going to install. And then we run with them for 2 weeks, and we sit down and discuss and find out, oh, this worked, this didn't work, And so that's going to be about a year project on top of also still making signs and raising children and yada, yada, yada. So a lot of
Sounds like you're building a turnkey business here.
Well, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is what's in my head is in my head. It's not on paper. So, I've got great support at my office with Suzanne and Sean and Avi and Rex. And, the best thing about it is if we're all on the same page, we all understand where we're coming from. So Monday mornings we sit down, I got a big TV, we do PowerPoint presentations, and we basically sit down and say, okay, this is what was cool, this is what wasn't cool, what worked, what didn't work, and then hey, what's going to be a better process. So we can complain about how many times we put our signature on the paper, but the fact is that in the future we're going to go paperless, and I just need y'all to notice. This is what that computer program is doing. It's basically it's a pre-production, production, and post-production software that allows you to step by step. So any client and any person in my office can sit there and pick up the phone and be like, oh, your sign is in this step of the process, or your banner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing at night, is trying to spit out stuff in my head.
And unfortunately, you have to do it. It's leadership, it's training, it's moving on to the next century and next technology. And unfortunately, somebody has to do it, and usually it's going to be the boss and the CEO, and that's why we do what we're doing. Because if you were just here for a paycheck, it'd be really hard to spend that kind of hours. But when it's your own, my goodness, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, well, and I want everyone else here to realize that, as if they work with me and follow what my dream is we'll all see. That's the main goal. I don't expect anybody to follow me and be like, whatever, thanks, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I think McDonald's is paying about $10 an hour, so have a good time. I mean, the reality is, I'm going to bring everybody up with me as we grow as well, because I couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely. Last question for you. Any podcasts or books or anything like that you like to consume? Yeah,
I do a lot. Tim Ferriss, I've done a lot of him. Joe Rogan, just because he's like 3 times a week, and it's nice and easy to listen to. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but a lot of sales books, audiobooks from Audible, and then because mainly, if you look at how sales are done from 20 years ago to today, it's vastly different. The aggressive approach, or for me, I'm not an aggressive seller. I'll actually undersell because I don't think the client will need it, and they get mad at me sometimes. I'm like, well, look, I spent $5,000 for $500. You can get the same results. Which
that's the kind of guy I like to deal business with.
Well, the reality, because we have a lot of hurricanes, and we did some work for a company that a part of their sign fell down, and I was like, well, 30 feet in the air. So if we just screw it back up, no one's going to notice that top right corner has a little dent in it. I mean, when you do a redesign with a new logo, sure, then let's put up some big money. But the fact is that I don't want them to. And this was during COVID, so they were closed for half a year. I was like, man, I don't want you guys. And they ended up, they actually left Lafayette the past 2 months. So.
Oh man, completely out of the area.
Well, the building is now for lease.
Okay, it happens.
Yeah, it does.
You did what you could, and you helped them while you could, and not everybody is going to make it, unfortunately. Well, Drew, this has been great. I feel like I've learned not only about Lafayette Signs, but you as a person, and I know I like to support people who are trying to support themselves and support their staff and everybody else. And like you said, when you're growing, everybody's growing. And just to see a business transform from the way it was to the way it's going and trying to make everything more streamlined, I think that's important. It's not an easy thing to do, but usually it rewards the business in the long run to be more profitable and to stick around another 40 years.
Yeah, for sure.
How can people reach you?
You can reach us at 337-232-1496 or LafayetteSigns.com or Drew at LafayetteSigns.com. I think that's all they got, right?
Thank you so much.
Everybody, thank you
so much. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, rank us 5 stars on the podcast app you're listening to it right now. Thanks again for the sponsor, Scoliosis Center of Louisiana and Chiropractic. He does the normal cracking style of chiropractic, but he's certified in instruments, so you don't have to have your neck twisted or popped if that's something you don't want to have happen. Stay tuned next week. Hope you had a great holiday season. I guess St. Patrick's Day is coming up next, so enjoy your green eggs and beer, however you celebrate St. Patrick's Day. See you next time.